Jake here for American Trucks, and today I'm taking a look at the Raxium Axial Series sequential LED mirror lights with smoked lenses fitting 2019 and newer Ram 1500s. Now, mirror lights are a boon for safety and visibility, but having those big amber lenses on your mirrors doesn't necessarily look all that great. So go ahead and ditch your stock ones for these smoked units from Raxium. They're going to bring a nice upgrade to your lighting and a stealthy look to your Ram by way of keeping the functionality of your mirror lights, and it'll also help them blend in stylistically with the rest of the trim on the truck. Plus, they're inexpensive, so these are going to be a win all around. Replacing your mirror lights may seem like a small upgrade, but just swapping your stock ones out for these can make a big visual difference. With the smoked lenses here on the outside, these blend in perfectly with the trim if you've got those black mirror caps, or they just blend in, almost making the lights disappear when they're off. And if you're going for that full blacked out look with your truck, well, these are gonna bring that little bit of extra stealthy detail to them, and that might be just what's needed to pull the whole scheme together. But beauty is more than skin deep here. Inside, these feature SMD LED strips to give you a sharp, clean line of light all the way through that lens. So there's no single point of light like there is with a factory incandescent bulb, and the whole thing here, side to side, gets totally lit up. And since these are LEDs, they're gonna have a much longer lifespan than those factory incandescent bulbs, and they're gonna be brighter even with the smoked lenses. So they're gonna make a big impact in overall visibility, and there is no way to miss them. Construction is all OEM grade plastic for the housings, and the lenses are made from the industry standard polycarbonate, plus the whole thing is sealed up to keep out moisture and dirt, so these are gonna last you a long time. Not to mention those LEDs that we were just talking about too. They're gonna have a nice long lifespan, so these are a really good solution, especially if you're planning on keeping your truck for a while. Pricing though is probably the best part here. And these are only gonna run you about $80 for the set, which I'd say is a pretty good value for something like this. Now, as always, I am a big fan of anything that makes a functional and aesthetic improvement, especially when it's less than $100. So with these, I really don't think you can go wrong. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter and should take you about an hour to complete. Now, this is a pretty straightforward install, as you'll see in a moment. Definitely something you can accomplish at home, though you are gonna have to do some disassembling of your mirrors in order to get the old lights out and swap these in. But otherwise, they are a total plug and play operation, so once you got the old ones out, these will go right in their place and fit exactly as the factory ones do. And to show you what's involved in that install process, let's throw it over to one of our AT customers. Tools used for this install include a ratchet or impact gun, a T20 Torx bit, a trim panel removal tool, and or a flathead screwdriver.
Alright guys, the first thing you're going to want to do is take both mirrors and put them in the fully down position as far as they'll go. So you have the left one and the right one. Alright, so next what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this mirror forward just to give ourselves a little bit more room here. You're going to take a narrow, preferably long shanked flathead screwdriver. You're going to come in here and we're going to pop the glass off of the motor assembly here. So I will show you what this looks like once we take this off. It's kind of hard to get the camera in. So take your flathead, you wiggle it back and forth, and you'll see the clip will pop off once you do this. You may have to come in here and get the other one on the top. Now it's going to be too hard to kind of pull off as it sits right here. So we're just gonna reach in the truck and we're gonna rotate this back up a little and it'll be easier to pull off. All right, so it's back up a little now and we can just reach in here. Might have to give it a little bit of a wiggle. There will be 2 clips still holding this at the bottom here. Once you get this off, there'll be if you have auto dimming side mirrors, there'll be a clip for that, and then there'll be 2 wires if you have the heated mirrors as well. Just go ahead, make note of where those are on the back of the glass here, and then we'll remove those. All right, so we're gonna take our flatbed screwdriver and we're just gonna pop these electrical connectors off. They're just a friction type. And then we'll just take our flatbed screwdriver here, pop this electrical connector off, and you should just be able to pull that apart. Our glass is now free. And basically right between here and here on these little tabs is where I was prying to get this glass off. All right, once you've got the glass removed from the housing here, we're gonna remove the back cap. This could be painted, this could be black plastic for you. First thing, we're gonna take a T20 Torx bit, and we're gonna remove the screw that's all the way to the left on the mirror. And then we're gonna take another flathead screwdriver, a little bit wider of a tip will help here, and then we're gonna pry on the 4 clips. These will probably match the color of your cap as well, so if it's painted, that'll help you find those. I'm just gonna take them, I'm gonna pry gently. All right, so once you've got all 4 out here, you'll flip this mirror back around to the front. Just give it a tug. And there is a second clip that you won't be able to get to from the back side of it that's here, that mounts to the side of the mirror. And then there's a tab on the bottom of the cap that you just rotate the cap forward, and this one will come off by itself. All right, once you've got the top mirror cover removed, we're gonna remove the lower mirror cover. And this is gonna bring the LED light with it as well. So you're gonna take your T20 Torx bit again. You've got 2 screws to remove this time, here and here. All right, and then now we've got the screws removed, we're just gonna have to pry. There's 2 tabs located here and here holding these 2 pieces together. So you take your trim panel removal tool and get in there. Maybe a little bit tough. All right, once you've got the top cap removed from the mirror housing, we're gonna remove the lower housing, which includes the light. We're gonna have 2 Torx screws located here and here. These are again T20. Or set those aside. So we've got the 2 screws removed. We're also gonna have to remove 2 tabs here and here. It helps to give the housing a little bit of a tug ahead of time. Take our flathead screwdriver. And just separate the 2 tabs here and here. And this should just come on off. You may have 1 or 2 wire connectors for the turn signal itself, and then if you also have the puddle lights outside of the doors here. For the turn signal, you're going to take this gray clip, scoot it back, and pull it straight off. For the puddle light, you're going to take your screwdriver, separate the little clip here as well, and pop the connector off. This is what's going to be attaching to your new Raxium light. And we've got the lower housing installed. Now that we have the mirror cover and light removed from the rest of the mirror, we're going to take the old light off of the mirror cover. This is again going to be 2 T20 Torx screws here and here. And now you should just be able to take these apart. Now that we have the old turn signals removed from the mirror, we can take a look at the old versus the new and do some comparisons. The old factory turn signal had a clear lens with a chrome backing. The new Raxium LED sequential turn signal has a smoked lens with a black backing, which will really lend itself to any blacked out themes or if you're looking for more of a stealth look. Now at this point we're completely done with the disassembly process, and now we basically have to put everything back together. So you start with your lower mirror cover and your new Raxium sequential turn signal. You're going to fit these guys together, trying to line up the screws here. Then we're going to replace the first of our T20 Torx screws. So now our sequential turn signal and our mirror cover are back together as one unit, and you've got your wires that we're going to connect in the next step. Now that we have our LED turn signal mated back to our lower mirror cover, we're going to install them back on the side mirror. First step, you're going to want to reconnect your 2 wire connections. Just plug those back in. You should hear a clip there. And then reconnect your turn signal. Press the gray clip back in. And then we're going to mount it back up on the mirror housing. So you're going to, again, try and aim your screw mounting points to match back up. And you'll hear your 2 tabs clip back together, and simply install the 2 T20 Torx screws again. Again, these don't have to be super tight, they're just holding in your LED mirror. At this point, it'd be a good point to test your lights because everything's hooked back up. And there we go, we've got a flashing light, that's a good sign. Now we can go ahead, reattach the mirror cover and put the glass back in. To put your mirror cover back on, you're going to start with this bottom tab right here. You're going to line it up with that slot. Rotate the mirror cover back in. Just make sure all your tabs are clicked back into place. Then we can go ahead and reinstall the very first T20 Torx screw we ever took out. Right there. And our mirror cover's back in place. We're going to just reinstall the glass. To reinstall the glass, first thing we're going to do is reconnect our existing wire connections. Put that back in place. Get your heated mirror connections back in. And what we're going to do here is we're going to try and line up this center circle on the back of your glass with the center circle of your motor assembly. And then just give it a firm press. And you're done. And just repeat everything we did on this side, on the other side, and you're good to go.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Raxium Axial Series sequential LED mirror lights with smoked lenses fitting 2019 and newer Ram 1500s. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, for all things Ram, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.